The second thing that I want you to do in really helping to kill this overwhelm that you have in your business is I want you to set clear communication guidelines and touch points. So often I hear from the CEOs that I work with, they're like, I don't know, should we talk every day? Do we talk weekly? Do we talk bi-weekly? I feel like if I say we need to talk every day, I don't really know what we're supposed to talk about with my staff. And so how do I communicate well with my staff, right? The goal here is to set regular touch points. You want to always be available for these regular touch points and then create ways, of course, that they can reach you in between those, right? So the first thing that I want to encourage you to do is to have a way for them to communicate easily with you on a daily basis. My company uses Slack. I use Slack for everything. If you've ever interacted with me, either as an employee of mine or as a student of mine, you know that I use Slack for literally everything. I think it is a really easy tool. It's free. It's a simple tool to be able to create multiple channels with your team. It's a simple tool to be able to create threads so that you can ask them a question. They can reply right there in the thread so it doesn't get jumbled up like it would in text. I also am not a big fan of emails because we aren't required to respond to emails within 24 hours. Also, I hate clogging up each other's inboxes. When I need a quick answer, I want to go to Slack. So what we talk about with our team, with our staff, is if you need a quick answer. So if it's like, hey, where's the photo for such and such, right? Or is there payment back for this client yet? Whatever, anything. Then that's a Slack. That's a real quick Slack, and you can do that on a daily basis, right? Now, if it's a project that one of them needs each other to do, or if it's something that isn't urgent, then that's an email, right? We don't need to go to Slack for something like that. If it's a project or if it's not urgent, if it's something like an FYI, that's an email to each other, right? So you want to be able to create those real easy guidelines so that you don't have some things being emailed and some things being texted and some things being voice noted. Like that's confusing to everyone. So we try to keep it very, very clear that Slack is where our communication for our team goes. Don't text each other on iMessage. Please do not Facebook message each other. Don't have any other way to communicate except through Slack. So we keep all of our team communication through Slack. If it's a project or it has lots of detail, we're going to go to email. That's what that's for. Otherwise, we're always in Slack. Okay, so that regular communication. The second piece of this is I want you to have very consistent team communication, team meetings, right? This is what we call our staff meeting. Now, some of you are like, Brandee, I literally have one staff person and it feels ridiculous to have a staff meeting. And while I understand that, I'm still going to encourage you to have a very specific time that you meet every single week to talk to your staff, even if that's just one person. I want you to set that time aside and I want you to make it non-negotiable. Like our staff is not allowed to book things over staff meeting unless they're on approved vacation. Obviously, they don't have to come off of vacation to come to staff meeting. But our staff meeting is every single Tuesday at 9:15 a.m. And honestly, it's been like that since I can remember, like so many years now that I can't remember a time where we did it any differently. It's been Tuesday morning at 9:15 a.m. for at least the last 8 years. Ours is on Tuesday because we encourage our team to take Monday, even if they did not work over the weekend, if they didn't have a wedding. This is a great day to catch up on emails, get their feet underneath them for the week. And so Tuesday is really when we want to kick off the next week. We consider Monday kind of like a tie-up from the week before if they're working. So Tuesday's kind of the kickoff to the new week. We have it at 9:15 because 9 o'clock is like grab your coffee, go potty, whatever. And 9:15 you're sitting down in front of Zoom. Our meetings are virtual because my staff works remote. So that's really the purpose between 9:15 on Tuesday mornings. You can do yours whenever you want, but if you're looking for a regular time and you're like, why does Brandee have hers on Tuesdays? That's why I do that. And that's why I do quarter past the hour. Also because I schedule our staff meetings from 9:15 to 10. They don't need to go a full hour. It's very, very rare that we even go all the way to 10 o'clock, but it's important to have that regular time to meet. We set that time aside so that we can save things that aren't necessarily urgent for that meeting. I keep a note in my phone or in my computer. They talk to each other because I'm an Apple girl, but I keep a note. And anytime I have things that are like housekeeping notes or a training note or something that happened that I want to share with the whole team, I hold that for staff meeting. And I have a note in my phone just called staff meeting. And I also encourage our team to do that too. If one of them comes to me with something, I'll say, hey, can we talk about that at staff meeting? Because it's really not urgent. And I do think the whole team needs to be involved in that decision, or I think the whole team would benefit from this discussion. So I'll ask them to hold that note for staff meeting. This is a great way for your team to just get that regular time and to understand that that time needs to be protected. Now, what are some of the things that you talk about at staff meeting? It's so funny because I already outlined this episode, and then literally before I could get it recorded, somebody in my Facebook community said, hey, I feel so weird having a staff meeting every single week because I don't even know what to do in staff meeting. I only have a couple of people on my team, and I feel like I'm struggling with things to come up with. So I wanted to share how I run my staff meeting to make it super efficient and to involve everyone. Because the worst thing you can do, remember, you are managing people, not tasks. So the worst thing that you could do is be the one talking the whole time. In all reality, you should actually talk the least of anybody in the group. You are really the facilitator there, but you are not the one just talking at everybody. You don't want it to be like a webinar. You want people to come and be involved. You want them to ask questions. You want them to give their update, right? So even if you only have one staff person, this is where you really can shine as a leader in involving them in everything that the business is doing. So here's what I'm going to suggest to you for your staff meeting. These are the things that we do in our staff meeting. So the first thing that we talk about is the weddings that we had the weekend before. So we're meeting on a Tuesday. So we always talk about what weddings have we had since last Tuesday. We do a lot of weekday weddings too. And the coordinator that's on the meeting that had the wedding will give a quick update. It's very, very brief. What you don't want to do is get into a rant session or recap the whole wedding. Listen, you could be there all day during busy season, right? And we're trying to be efficient here. So what we're really looking for is, was the wedding great? Was the couple happy? Was there any learning moments? Was there anything that happened that maybe the whole team could learn from? Were there any vendors that were a huge challenge that we might need to be wary of next time? Were there any vendors that were amazing that we would love to work with again? And any follow-up that needs to happen from that wedding. So everybody that had a wedding from the past meeting till now will go through their weddings and give a quick update. We then talk about any weddings that are coming up in the next 2 weeks. So again, we want to ask who has weddings coming up over the next 2 weeks. Do you feel good about it? Is your timeline going to go out on time? Do you have all the information you need from your couple? Is there anything you need from any one of us to help you execute that wedding? Do you feel like you don't have enough staff for that day? Do you feel like your assistant isn't strong enough? Because by that point, they know who their assistant's going to be. Do you need anything? Does everyone feel confident in their weddings coming up over the next 2 weeks? And if not, is there anything that you need from us that we can help with, right? So anybody on the team can help. So we're talking about the last weekend and then the next 2 weeks. The next thing we do is we go around the room and everybody gives an update on their area of expertise. So what does that mean? At this point in my business, I really am not in charge of anything, right? Like I'm not in charge of any one section. So we have a sales manager, a marketing manager, a people manager. She's our person in charge of our team, right? Our people, and then an operations manager. And so they all give updates on their area of expertise. So we go around the room. Our sales manager reminds us of what the sales goal is for the month, and she lets us know how much she's already booked in sales, and then if she has any consults coming up this coming week, if she's got any contracts out, and if she feels like we are going to meet, exceed, or be under our sales goal for the month, right? So we want everybody involved in that goal. If she feels like she's under, that's when we're looking to our marketing manager and we're like, hey, what can we do to make sure that we're getting her more leads? What kind of posts could we make this week to push more leads to our sales manager? So then it's our marketing manager's turn. So she's talking about what posts were the best posts last week and what blogs she has coming up. She's asking the team if there's anything she needs from them. So if she needs a video from them, if she needs them to help make a reel, if she needs a little story about a real wedding that's coming up, she'll ask that coordinator to help give just a couple of tidbits to make that blog unique. She'll give us any kind of updates that are coming up. If she's stuck for blog ideas, she'll also ask for the team to step in and help. Our team manager, so she's the one that manages all of our part-time planners and also our associate planners, she'll give us an update on how the team is doing. how training's coming along, if there's anybody on our team that's really excelling, or maybe anybody on the team that we might want to give a little extra education to the next person that's working with that person. So she's really giving an update on our part-time planners and our associate planners. And then lastly is our operations manager. So she's giving an update on any CRM updates that have come in, anything that she sees that is not working in our systems, general housekeeping notes she's going to give as well. And then lastly, I'll wrap it up with any housekeeping notes that I have. So if there's been any industry changes or just anything that I thought was an interesting article that I read over the last week that could be helpful to the team, I'll add that in. And then if there's any major topics we need to discuss, oftentimes we'll discuss as a team together pricing changes, or if we've been seeing the same challenges come up over and over with clients, we'll discuss, is there something different we need to do to our process that could help us to not have that same challenge again? We'll discuss that as a team. And that's really my job to facilitate that discussion. I want you to hear this and understand how our business runs having a fully developed team. But you may be listening and think, Brandee, I don't have that big of a team. It's just me and one other person. So this feels overwhelming. And I totally get that. What I want you to do in your staff meeting is still consider these 4 areas of your business that you will eventually have people filling all of those roles. Right now, you might be filling 3 of those roles and your team member might be filling 1, right? And so that's totally okay. But what I want you to do is I want you to involve that team member in the business. You want them to be so invested in the business. So give them updates. Say to them, hey, our sales goal for this month is $10,000 and we've already hit 8,000. And I'm so excited because we've got some really great clients that we're signing on right now. And I still need to book 1 more wedding. I have a couple of consults coming up, so I feel really good about it. Do you have any ideas on how we could maybe get more leads coming in the door, right? Let them get invested. Going back to our marketing coordinator example from the last strategy, if they're in charge of marketing, really get them invested and ask them to communicate to you in that staff meeting what they have coming up or what they might need from you. Ask them, what blogs do you have coming up? What social media posts do you have coming up? Report back on your tracking of the best posts and things like that over the last week. I really want them to be invested in the business. I want them to be involved in the business. So you want to ask for their feedback, ask for their help, ask for them to produce ideas for you that can help grow the business. Giving them an idea of your sales goals and how you're pacing to the sales goals and what things you're doing in the business to grow it coming up is a really, really excellent way of getting them involved in the business and helping them to feel ownership over what you guys are doing.